Welcome back to a Thanksgiving edition of the Rose Tackle Football Show. John, welcome. Happy Turkey Day, you vegetarian. How you doing?
Tofurkey Day.
Tofurkey Day indeed.
Yeah, we bought this tofurkey roast that has stuffing inside of it. So, unlike you heathens who take stuffing and stick it up a turkey's ass, our tofurkey already has stuffing inside of it.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's okay.
I do like the idea of the tofurkey. I think, bringing tofu shaped in the form of a turkey to Thanksgiving, there's nothing wrong with that. So I get it. Let's dive into a little bit of Thanksgiving stuff. We can talk about some Thanksgiving. I want to give a little quick shout out to Diego Maradona. Died today. The hand of God, one of the great soccer players of all time. A party on the field, a party off the field, it appears. So giving a little shout out to him with my Boca Juniors jersey, his old team. But Diego, rest in peace. And with that, Thanksgiving, the NFL on Thanksgiving, traditionally, I've hated. I love watching football on Thanksgiving, but like the games are never great. You got to watch the fucking Lions every year, which is never great. And really not looking forward to it this year because the Cowboys aren't any good. So
the whole division's terrible.
Yeah, so that neither of those games I'm expecting much from. So what are you excited about Thanksgiving? Anything other than the football? What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish that you're excited for? The tofurkey?
Yeah, I mean, I was not. Tofurkey. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Last year wasn't too bad when we had it, but I was pretty excited for the Pittsburgh Baltimore game. That was going to be a great primetime game. Yeah. Wife Whitney, she's a Steelers fan, so we were getting hyped for that game, and now it's just a 10 a.m. Sunday game, which sucks. And Juju had a great reaction to it today. I think I linked that in the show notes, but he says, first, the NFL takes away our bye week because another team can't get their COVID situation together. Now they take away our Thanksgiving primetime game for the same reason. I'm shaking my head. I think that's just, I think it's a great snapshot into just how I think a lot of people feel about the COVID situation. Just like other people not getting their shit together are really just ruining it for the rest of us. So
I agree. As somebody who's pretty much only socialized with his wife and his parents over the last couple months, I can say I wholeheartedly agree.
But getting back to Thanksgiving, my favorite dish traditionally has always just been stuffing, like the stuffing, whether it's our grandma's sausage stuffing growing up, or this vegetarian stuffing recipe that we've come up with. I mean, it's just bread and gravy, juices, everything. It's delicious. So
yeah, I agree. Stuffing, I'm a stuffing guy myself. Also, the rutabagas that the Rose family does, or actually Cold family does. Looking forward to those. Definitely.
What's your favorite pie? I think I know, but what is it?
I feel like my favorite pie changes. I don't know if I have a favorite, but like I love a good pumpkin pie. I like a good cherry pie.
Oh, we're having cherry tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. We are having some pumpkin and a little bit of apple crumble.
Like you, I would say my favorite pie is pie.
There you go. I agreed. Favorite pie is pie. Another just quick note, I'm looking across the street right now at the building, the apartment directly across from where I live. They have already put up their Christmas tree. They put it up actually 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks?
We've been looking at this goddamn Christmas tree for 2 weeks now. I see another apartment on the other side of the building put theirs up today. So Christmas trees appear to be going up all around the city. We will do ours probably this weekend, post Thanksgiving. What about you? Are you guys doing a Christmas tree? Are you doing the
No,
fake?
traditionally we haven't, because so often we travel out to Chicago. We generally don't put Christmas tree out. Maybe some like Christmas lights and stuff like around the place.
For sure.
But generally not. But our family in particular, at our parents' place, we're generally not putting up, at least decorating the tree until like the 23rd or the 24th.
Usually, Christmas Eve until everybody's there. So yes, late arrival to
yes.
All right. Well,
as is tradition for
indeed
our family.
Indeed, we're late to everything. All right. Well, let's jump into the stuff that everybody shows up for. The football, to be specific, the Rose Tackle Football League. So big game this week. I'll pull it up here. This game featured yours truly, the Decatur Staleys, and Kelly's team, Absolute Fiasco, a team that has been on a tear. I think they've won something like 4 of their last 5, maybe that's a little high, but somewhere in there. And
really turned it around.
Turned around a season that appeared to be heading south very quickly. She was down kind of at the bottom of the league with yours truly, John Rose, but found a way to turn her around on the back of Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. This was, I think, a game that Kelly probably thought she was going to win. My team had been floundering. I didn't make any moves at the deadline. Nothing really changed about my team. I got Michael Thomas back a couple weeks ago, but he wasn't playing very well. But it turned out that Zeke and Thomas repaid my loyalty. Keeping them on the roster, they showed up for the first time this year.
Yeah, big game from Zeke, which was awesome.
It was a pretty great game.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to benefit from Andy Dalton being back, and he had a rough go.
Agreed.
Getting concussion, and then
John may have stopped COVID out here, or I did.
You still there?
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Oh, John is back.
Yeah,
John, can you hear me?
Did you not hear me?
No, you cut out there for a second.
Okay.
But I think you were saying that Andy Dalton, he's going to benefit from Andy Dalton being there.
Yeah, he's going to benefit from Andy Dalton, back in the lineup with after having a concussion and COVID. That's a rough go for sure. And then Keenan Allen, Jesus Christ. 145 yards. Woo.
Yeah. I want to give a big shout out this year to Keenan Allen. He has been awesome. Way better than I think people thought he was going to be coming into the year. Most of that because people assumed that Tyrod Taylor was going to be quarterback for the first part of the season. But apparently the Chargers had other things in mind and decided to stab him in the lung and end his career prematurely so that they could start their rookie. But Keenan Allen has really showed up just about every week this year. And so has the rookie. So has Justin Herbert. 20 plus points in every game this year that he started in, except for one. So I'm thrilled with where I'm at with those two.
Yeah, he's as people say, waiting for that rookie regression to come through, and we have not seen any of that. And to be honest, I'm not sure we will, except for maybe New England.
I don't know, that New England defense
13, but even that, they're not, they're not as good as they once were. And then, looking at the rest of their schedule, if you make it into the playoffs, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and then at home against Denver. And so I think it's a little bit less worrisome than if it was at Denver. But even then, when he played Denver, he still put up 278, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the Staleys are taking it 1 week at a time. This was a big win for us, but we got a long hill to climb here to get back to the top of the division, and we'll talk about that and what that division is going to look like in a second. But let's jump to one other big matchup from the week. Wasn't a monster. It would have been a big win for Fitz had he been able to pull it out. But essentially, Peter Kramer in this, the Alpha Peters, were able to clinch the playoff spot. First team to clinch a playoff spot. I think we all knew it was coming from his team. So congratulations to the Alpha Peters, his loaded team.
To be honest, I think with one more win, he should clinch first, at least a bye. So
I believe you're correct. With one more win, he'd get to 9 wins. The only other teams able to get to 9 wins are Ken and the Barracudas, I believe.
Yep.
And the Alpha Peters hold the tiebreaker against both. Yes, the Alpha Peters beat Thoughts and Prayers in week 6, beat the Barracudas in week 10. And so that head-to-head tiebreaker, the Alpha Peters would clinch with one more win. The bye.
First place, right?
Yep.
League best record.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Let's jump into, before we get too far down the rabbit hole of the playoffs, because we're going to spend a little bit of time on that in a minute. A little bit of news and notes from around the league. We talked a little bit already about the game tomorrow being moved to Sunday. The thing that I don't get, why doesn't the NFL move the other 2 games back?
I totally agree. A 9:30 start time out here for the Detroit game, earlier than even normal. Which is very frustrating that they're not just going to move it back. Granted, do you really want to spend your evening watching either of those games? Probably not. But
no, not really. But I think
at least move it back to 10. 1 p.m. Eastern.
Make it a normal.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. It's very frustrating, and I share Juju's frustration in the fact that it seems like Pittsburgh's the only team that seems to be been on that. It's not the only team. I would say the Raiders also have been on the short end of the stick there with some of the NFL's decisions regarding COVID, not postponing their game when I think all of their linemen had COVID, and being fined a draft pick next year, when Tennessee held that workout and didn't really get much. I mean, they got some sort of monetary fine, but not to the level of the Raiders. But
it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate to lose that game on Thursday. All right, a lot of quarterback news in the NFL right now. The first one up, and this is, I'm not sure what this does to the average Peters, but Joe Burrow's out for the rest of the season. He does not just have a torn ACL. He has a torn MCL and a torn PCL. Is that the other thing?
Yeah, all I saw was ACL, MCL, and then other structural damage, which never good when they aren't able to fully define how extensive the issue is. And that sort of leads that leads to the Drew Brees news as well, where first he just had bruised ribs.
Yep.
Then he had 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung, and now he has 11 broken ribs. I don't know if he fell down the stairs after the injury, but it seems to be getting worse.
It sure does. It does. It does.
But going back to Average Peter, do you will he keep Joe Burrow now? They say he should be ready by the start of next year, like right at the start of next year. So he won't get any offseason work.
Yeah.
If there is a preseason, probably won't play in that. I don't know if he keeps him at this point.
I don't know either. And to be honest with you, well, I don't think he should have been. I don't think he should keep Joe Burrow to begin with. I think if you're going to keep a rookie quarterback, the rookie quarterback to keep is on the Staleys.
Yeah.
That guy's looked a lot more impressive than Joe Burrow has, and he's got a lot more weapons around him than Joe Burrow has. But that said, I think Pete wasn't just planning on keeping Joe Burrow for 1 year. He was planning on keeping him for a while, making him a staple on his team. And I don't know. I don't know if you do that now or if you just go out and get him, because you could probably, he's got so much of that draft money. Just go out and pay a little bit more than the next guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if he's not ready by the time our draft rolls around, I highly doubt anyone's going to be willing to spend even $3 on him.
Yep.
If he's not even game ready. So
yeah, agreed.
We'll see though.
All right. Well, so one other thing, actually two other things. Taysom Hill shocked the world. I was not prepared for that. In fact, I really thought this was going to be Jameis Winston's turn. But it looks like, and I actually agree with Robert Mays of The Athletic, who said that it looks to him like Sean Payton is just fucking bored and wanted to try something different. And instead of having Jameis Winston do a Drew Brees impression, they went with something completely different. And, much like Belichick being bored with having the same offense or the same guy for 20 years, it sounds like maybe Sean Payton wanted to mix things up a little bit. That's what he's been doing with Taysom Hill to begin with. So I don't know.
That's fair. Can you tell me how old Taysom Hill is?
He's got to be like 26, right? 27, 26.
He is 30 years old.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill. Oh yeah, because he went to BYU, didn't he?
Yep, he went to BYU.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how many season-ending injuries he had in college?
I did see this. I believe he had 4 seasons that ended with a season-ending injury. Yeah.
Yes. He got a medical red shirt after one of them, and he ended up playing 5 years at BYU.
That's rough.
So I don't see how they keep him as their next quarter. Do you really keep a 30-year-old as your heir apparent? I mean,
I don't know.
We'll
see.
But, and do you know how old Jameis Winston is?
I don't know. 24.
He's 26.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Get a little more life out of him if they go that route.
You could. I mean, are you really going to revive Jameis Winston's career? Who knows? All right, one more. Mike Glennon starting this week. Just a quick note on that. So there was a chain that went out today that I saw about the butterfly effect of Mike Glennon being basically
that all coming full circle.
Yeah, it all coming full circle for with Mike Glennon. And I do want to say, actually, Sully and I were at the game that Trubisky started for the first time, the game after Glennon was benched. It was a terrible game. They lost to the Vikings, but it was a much more exciting time than right now. And I was really hoping that, that was going to be the start of something for Trubisky and the end of something for Glennon. And it looks like maybe we could have the opposite here. But,
well, they're both going to get their
shot.
So, yeah.
I don't know. This feels to me like the last hurrah for Mitch Trubisky, but we'll see. All right. Let's move into the week preview. There wasn't much going on the waiver wire this week. Bill, for the first time, didn't pick up a defense. That was wild. But
Shit,
other than
is he out of
that,
money or what's going on?
he's got plenty of it. He's got plenty of it. All right, let's go into divisional preview. So, 3 big games happening this week. One, you versus Fitz, and Fitz basically really needs this win. This is big for him. But we'll go into that in a second.
I mean, he should win. He should win. So, but yeah, keep going.
There's no, let's just take a look at it now. There's no reason why Fitz should lose this matchup. I mean, you're starting the backup running back on Vegas. There's no the biggest hole in Fitz's lineup, I think, is I mean, maybe Amari Cooper, maybe Darius Slayton. Do you see a hole?
I think so. We'll see. I don't think,
Actually, it's Juju. It's Juju. Juju's the biggest hole in the lineup.
Might be.
Yeah.
But, he's got, Kenny Galladay. Is he still going to be out this week? Oh, man, that's too bad. He's got Robbie Anderson that he could flex in over Juju, especially if Teddy comes back.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider that. But no, he should have no problem taking down the W here, especially with Tyler Eifert is having Glennon throw to him on my side, and Tyler Boyd has Allen throwing to him, and so my running back situation, I have quietly accumulated as many rookie running backs as possible to go into the offseason to see if any of them end up getting the starting nod in the offseason.
Yeah, you got a few. I mean, Dylan, who knows what happens there? I mean, they'll probably re-sign, I would imagine, one of Jamal Williams or Aaron Jones to stay in front of them.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to go through all of them, but I like the moves. All right. So big game for Fitz. He does need to win this. He's on the fringe of the playoffs, and we'll do a little playoff roundup in a second. The other big game, Kelly versus Ken. So Kelly and Ken, these are actually big games a big game for both of them, I think.
Yep.
If Ken is looking to stay in front in the division, namely in front of Charlie, who has a pretty easy, I think, easier
against
game
Josh
this week, it's going to be important for Ken to win. I expect Ken's team to win. I don't really, I don't really have anything more to say than that. But outside of a huge Dalvin Cook game, I expect Ken to win.
Yeah, Kelly's gonna have a tough time, looking at, Lamar Jackson's playing Pittsburgh, and they have not given up a lot of points to the quarterback position all season long.
Yeah.
And if Julio, slated to be a game time decision, if he ends up having a second half like he did last week, where it's just in and out, you're not going to get much from that. And the Ronald Jones dart throw is
always rough.
Scary. Yeah, it's very scary. Sure. So, and Thielen's still in COVID protocol, so we'll see about that. But
yeah, it would be huge for her if Thielen could come out of COVID protocol and you could flex out McKissick.
And the only other thing would be Deebo Samuel, but he's coming back. If he comes back and plays, he's playing against the Rams, and that's a tough matchup to come back to. So,
and actually, I don't know. Watching that Tampa Bay game on Monday night, I got the feeling that they were playing Fournette more in the passing situations. So
they are.
I don't know if you throw McKissick in there over Ronald Jones just because you expect it to be a high volume game.
Yeah. When they get down, when Tampa Bay gets down, they bring in Fournette. for the
Yeah.
passing game. Now, Fournette dropped. When I was watching that, I saw him drop at least 2 or 3 passes.
Okay.
But Ronald Jones is not any better of a pass catcher
No.
than Fournette.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
if they're not up and running the ball, then Ronald Jones doesn't get much playing time. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, but who knows?
On Ken's side of the ball, Metcalf against Philly, I think it's a great matchup for him. Mahomes against that Tampa Bay defense. That Tampa Bay defense has looked better. They haven't looked great recently. So, very ripe to be taken advantage of. And then, the rest of it, I would expect guys like Robert Woods and Calvin Ridley to get their points no matter.
Oh yeah, outside of David, is that Duke Johnson or
Duke Johnson, isn't it?
Yeah.
David Johnson's on IR.
Yeah, Duke Johnson, who's not looked good the last couple games. I mean,
well, he's not very good. Right? Yeah. That's the biggest issue. he's not a good football player.
I wouldn't be surprised if he swaps him out for Kenyon Drake.
I might play Kenyon Drake there.
I would see that as a safer floor. I mean, Kenyon Drake will get,
yeah, I mean,
him at least 8 to 10 points. So
him and Edmonds were basically a 50-50 split on not in carries, but in snaps. Him and Edmonds were a 50-50 split last week. And I would expect that to continue. But against what has been a kind of surprisingly okay defense in Detroit, Duke Johnson, I don't know. On a Thursday, I don't know. I think Ken's got a recipe for success there. He could, if Calvin Ridley, who should play, he came back and played well last week. He's only had a few bust games, and so he seems to have all the guys in that are gonna at least get him 10 to 12 points out of every position, and that should be enough to get the W and take a commanding lead in that division. Agreed. Yeah. That commanding lead will depend on what Charlie does this week. But Charlie should win against Wings and Pizza. We'll see what happens with the Packers. They're playing the vaunted Bears defense, but I imagine they will still get their points. So enough about that, though. The other big game this week, this game is essentially for the division. Not essentially for the division. Well, yeah, it could be for the division in week 13. Sorry, in week 12, the game I'm referencing, for those of you on audio, the Decatur Staley is playing the Hollow Earthers. The Hollow Earthers in front in the division at 6-5. The Staleys nipping at their heels at 5-6, coming on hot the last week. The Hollow Earthers play the Alpha Peters in week 13, and the Decatur Staleys play Wings and Pizza in week 13.
Yeah.
Now, the way the division breaks down. So if the Hollow Earthers win this game, they win the division. That's it. But if the Staleys win this game, we would be tied. We'd go into it, and if I win my next game and Bill loses his next game, I'll win the division. If we both win or we both lose, we'll be in a situation where our head-to-head matchups are tied. We would have each beaten each other one time. And I think at that point, Bill takes it on points, unless I make a huge gain, because I think he's up by like 90 points at this point.
Is it by points, or is it then go to intra? I thought it went into intra record division.
Let's take a look at the old Constitution.
Yeah, if you win, then if you win this week, you go to 2-1, and he goes to 3-1. And
so
if you lose, then
yes, the first one is intra-division record.
Okay. So
then head-to-head, then total points. So intra-division record, I think we'd be tied as well.
If you win, then lose. If you win, then lose, you'd go to 2-2. because
Oh, you're right.
Bill's at
Yes.
3-0. So he'd be 3-1 for the year, and you'd end up at 2-2.
2-2.
So you just need to win out, and you'll be
Yeah.
safe.
And well, not really. We'll be tied. But yes, essentially. Essentially the best way for the Staleys to make the playoffs is for us to win out. We don't have much of a shot otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, if Bill ends up beating Peter next week after losing to you, he's going to have to put up a astronomical amount of points, and that will take care of the points for situation.
Yes,
so
indeed. So we'll see. This game this week, I like my odds. I don't love my odds. I may make a couple changes to the lineup here and there, but essentially it's set. Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen going against that Buffalo team. I expect it to be a shootout. I expect there to be a lot of points put up. So hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think Elliott's is gonna fare well tomorrow. So
apparently, what's his name? Their coach, Mike. What's that? What's the Cowboys coach's name?
Mike.
Ends with M. Oh my God. Mike McCarthy, has really got them fired up the last couple weeks. So I'm apparently people are buying back in. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, did you read? I just read a little a headline about him buying watermelons.
He's been going Gallagher on some watermelons at practice. So apparently guys have been loving it. So we'll see. I don't know. But hopefully they're fired up. I think on Ken's side of the ball, on Bill's side of the ball, he's got as good a chance as he does every week at winning. If he gets stud performances out of Russell Wilson, out of DeAndre Hopkins, there's a good chance he's going to win.
Yeah. And it looks like Mike Davis will start yet again.
Mike Davis doesn't scare me.
He had a good game last week against Detroit, but
I mean,
that's Detroit.
He had 14 points against Detroit. Most of it coming off a touchdown. I'm not too worried about that. But yes, there's other players on his team that I worry about more. Cooper Kupp going off at any moment scares me. James Conner having a big week against Baltimore scares me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
If only he could flex Josh Allen.
I know. Well,
I wonder has he tried starting him in his tight end spot? I wonder.
Just to give people a quick look ahead at the playoffs right now, before we wrap it up here, right now, the Alpha Peters and the Barracudas in line for a bye. I would imagine that is probably how it stays. Those two teams on top. The Barracudas have the second most points in the league, and the second best record, tied with Ken's team. But as we talked about with Ken's team, two big division matchups against teams that could very well beat him, whereas the Barracudas have the Average Peters and the Rose City Destroyers coming up. So I fully expect the top two teams, and would you agree with this? Top two teams to be
totally. Yeah, I was just looking at that. Yeah.
So
Blue Barracudas are going to have a very favorable stretch.
Yeah. So I'm going to give Alpha Peters 1, Barracudas 2, and then Thoughts and Prayers, I think, sticks it out in 3 in the third spot.
I think after the moves that they made prior to the trade deadline, they're in the best position to get that 3 spot.
Indeed. The team that's going to have a hard time making the playoffs, just real quick, should they lose any one of their next 2 games, actually, I think, is Brendan's team. The
Yep.
Bomboleros, I think they really want to win out in order to make the playoffs here. 6-5 is a good record, but they're trying to sneak in as a wild card. And there's going to be 2 teams from the Ditka division that are also trying to sneak in as wild cards. And Fitz plays one of them, plays the Absolute Fiascos. The other problem is Fitz does not own the tiebreaker, the head-to-head tiebreaker against Charlie's team. So should Charlie and Fitz end with the same record, Charlie would get in over Fitz, the Bomboleros, which, so he really does need to win out to ensure his spot.
Just to recall that was a very tight loss, less than 1 point.
Yes, indeed, that was a close one.
Yeah, that's gonna sting if that's the difference between in and out.
Yeah,
that's
a couple close losses on Fitz's schedule. Fitz also doesn't, actually should he lose one of those games and I win out, Fitz does not own that tiebreaker either. And here's a team that you might not expect me to say their name, and I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but they are 5-6. The Average Peters, he doesn't own the tiebreaker against them either. So if by some miracle the Average Peters win the next couple games and sneak in, I think that'd be a shock.
Looking at his team, it's not the worst team.
No, your team's the worst team.
Oh yes, I mean just on paper, yeah, for sure.
All right. Any other playoff notes?
No, just
all right.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all shakes out, and
indeed,
I'm hoping we have a number of 6-6 teams heading into week 13, and we'll be having some spiciness in the group chat.
Indeed.
On Sunday. So
real quick before we go, big shout out to John. He correctly called the Island loser this week, which actually means that we have a winner. The Island, the last man standing, the last football team owner standing, the Alpha Peters. Congratulations to Peter Kramer on winning Fantasy Island.
Incredible.
Good run. Put up the most points in the league, so not a huge shock, but an accomplishment nonetheless.
I mean, it just means he didn't have, one majorly down week, which that's hard to do in fantasy football, to not have your team ever, shit the bed. And so, his lowest point total there, 83 points against Alec. Yep. And then 85. Yep. That's the only 2 times he dipped under 100. So,
yep. And both games he lost. So I think this has been a pretty consistent season for Pete. And I fully expect him to have some playoff success. But congratulations on Fantasy Island to Peter Kramer and the Alpha Peters.
The inaugural win. That's incredible.
Indeed. All right, John, we did it. The end of another show. You got some golf to go play. I got some rutabagas to make. And I hope everybody out there is having a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And yeah, all right.
See you next week. Good luck, everyone.
Indeed. See ya.
Bye.